Friends and lovers, this meeting of the Tribalism Chiefs is called to order. Sitting with us are myself, Jake, and my co-hosts KJ and Omar. Chiefs, happy Friday night.
Happy Friday night, folks.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting. I'm not watching SmackDown right now because I'm watching back the topic.
Yes,
Sorry,
the
you're not missing
2015
much.
Royal Rumble. We needed to remind ourselves after a fairly pessimistic first episode, I'd say. We need to remind ourselves how much better off we are now.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. As evidenced by the tagline that I put. For those you can't see it, it says it's definitely a better time to be a wrestling fan. In dark contrast to what we said last week.
Rumble 15 was rough.
Yeah, that's generally the sentiment I'm getting when I ask people about that. One of them, Noah, who's in our server, helps her out with some of the shows I work for, and he is quoted, I asked him because he was 12 at the time, Roman winning genuinely was the start of me leaving wrestling for a few years. Like, that was the first time I went from a 12-year-old fan watching to a mark mad at the booking. He then goes on to say,
dude, that...
It has meaning. Big meaning.
Yeah.
I know,
people,
dude.
Like, to
it's
quote
just wild
Noah,
to like think.
When people talk about as a child and suddenly you, quote, gain consciousness, that was his wrestling version of that.
That's so telling.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how bad it was at the time.
Yeah, I mean, the Royal Rumble 2015 metaphorically killed a child. That's its legacy. But it also, too, why, because the Royal Rumble 15 is one of those infamous debacles that wrestling content creators love to hound on. But I still think it's important for us to look at it and not just mine it for content, but to put it in context of where we are, because the WrestleMania we're about to go to, we were thinking that this would be the year of Roman versus Rock, and this will have been 10 years now that they've been teasing this match, and they can just never get it together.
Yeah.
Right.
It's wild.
Right. Yeah, because you get it at the end. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But,
sure.
But in terms of Roman Reigns' story, the 2015 Rumble, that was the first time they had to actually acknowledge that things weren't going right.
Yeah.
And that was the start of Roman's character, this tension he had with the audience until he finally became the tribal chief, and everything went from there, and now it's the Roman Reigns era. Roman Reigns brought wrestling back to prominence just like they always wanted, but not in the way Vince was expecting.
Vince was hell bent on having this dude as like white meat babyface, and it's like, dude, his character, it's not his character. What he came back in 2020 as was what we all wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so extrapolate on that, because remember, I'm the Laps fan. Jake wasn't watching, and you were. So, like, I guess take NXT to, or FCW NXT to main roster. What made you believe that 2020 Roman and beyond was his character back then? Like, what was it? Because I don't know. Like,
because
I
that
only
was
see videos
like he was
and
the
whatever they
stoic
package up
one
to
in the
make
Shield.
look great.
Correct. Yeah. So it all started with the Shield. So when he,
Okay.
I watched him in FCW, and I was like, all right, this dude's got star power written all over him. They just got to use him right. Then when he popped in the Shield, and it was instantly like, that's my guy. But the way he was the muscle. It's like, this dude has to be a heel, and he would be so good. And then they kept force feeding him. Vince wanted to force feed him as a face. It's like, this isn't him.
Okay.
It's my yard. Everything else. No. When he came back as 2020, and he did what
So
he
you
did
didn't
with,
really
Strowman
okay.
and Bray, I popped so hard. I was like, yes, this is what we wanted. And that's why the rest is history. Since then, like, Roman's been in the stratosphere. He oozed it. Like, I'm star power, but I need to be
about the. No, I'm with you. Because, like, to me,
It's like
I look at
it's
like
like how
Roman
people.
as, like, I don't think he's like the most amazing character.
The Roman Reigns honeymoon period, like his debut in the Shield to around the time of after the Shield split up, where people started to see the cracks in Roman's armor. Like, think of it now, like the hype for Roman Reigns is like how people see Obafemi as the future, but double that.
Yeah.
for everyone thinking that's the guy. That's the guy.
That's
right
a great
there.
comparison. Okay.
Yeah. And I think the thing that irritated us was
that
that
actually makes
like,
perfect sense.
when they broke them from the Shield, he kept like the Shield gimmick. It's like, dude, all the other two went away from it. Just break him from, just change it up. Like, he doesn't need to be just remnants of the Shield. Like, it was too much.
I remember putting that in our chat. Like, they're still insulting your intelligence a little bit.
Correct.
And I still got that vibe like immediately right after the New Age outlet. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, never stopped loving the dude. Roman was always my guy, but it's like, bro, give us something. He needs to be retweeted. This is not it.
Because it's like, I'm going to be the one on this show who like kind of rags on the way WWE is presented, feels like my intelligence is being insulted, yada yada. But going back to 2015, I will say WWE is for babies. This show was for stupid babies.
Yeah. It's bad.
Like, everything is just so pandering and gross and weird and stilted. It's like the shows that Krusty the Clown would make fun of on The Simpsons, like a shoddy children's entertainment.
Yeah, you just look at it, you're like,
no, but like actually
so stuck in his old way of thinking of things.
Like WWE is completely corporatized now, and that was the thing that Vince was trying to bring in, but in his bizarre ways, like having like Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury to plug the mobile game do like the hokiest skit. Like,
yeah.
Anyone remember WWE Immortals?
Yes.
No.
Well, apparently it was a mobile game where you could take WWE superstars then and now and make them into like weird supernatural gimmicks.
Yeah, it was weird, bro. What a time.
What's the current, is there any current wrestling mobile game that they're still investing in? Because it feels like they kind of recycled through them a few times, but it's like...
I think there is one, but it's not like popular. Like, they pop it sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, like they were trying to get on, so... I wrote down stuff of January 2015, that pop culture stuff. One of the games of the year from 2014, because in January nothing's released games wise, but 2014 Hearthstone popped up as a real big free to play game. Free, obviously they want your money, but games like WWE Immortals were what were the main chase at the time. Like, everyone's trying to get that Clash of Clans money.
Supercard is
right WWE Supercard.
Like battle with your cards. Yeah, that's like...
Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah, so while KJ's gone, I'm just going to rattle off about pop culture in January 2015. So one of these shows was the most acclaimed. This was when Empire premiered, and then that's a show where people were genuinely distraught that it got canceled. Thanks, Jussie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty good for a while, but...
Yeah, also, My Big Fat Fabulous Life debuted this month, and it's still running on TLC.
Okay.
TLC can't get enough of documenting a fat woman from Greensboro.
Wow.
The number one song at the time was Uptown Funk, and it would remain that way for months. Looking at this Billboard list in 2015, Taylor Swift was number one on only 3 weeks of the year. So this was back when she was still mortal.
Yeah.
Yeah, she hadn't quite made it.
When she was just cute and like it was kind of cool to like Taylor Swift. Yeah, I remember those days. That was me. I thought she rocked, dude. I thought she was great.
The number one movie in the country was American Sniper, directed by Clint Eastwood, starring Bradley Cooper, about Chris Kyle, that guy who we celebrate for killing 200 people. Or 200 people as he claimed in his autobiography.
I mean, it could have been,
He was known as a big liar.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, it's still, he had a job to do, and he executed it, like, to the best of, I'm not trying to glorify it.
That's the angle that the Clint Eastwood movie made with it. Like I was,
duh, dude. I know the gimmick, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just talking about 2015 pop culture here. It's like, originally Spielberg was supposed to direct this, and he was going to go like with a more psychological route and stuff. But then he realized, oh wait, this is way too big of a budget. I'm out. So they brought in Clint Eastwood, who shot it on $56 million, and no frills about it. No, like, any kind of commentary. It's just a straightforward showing of Chris Kyle's life, and he was a hero. Please clap.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And it made $1 gajillion.
Of course it did.
There it is, bro. Capitalism, baby. It's crazy.
It served its cause.
That's it, dude. That's it, man. Did you...
Then, 2015, that month, the Patriots defeated the Seahawks. They ended a potential dynasty there, and New England went on to win 2 more in the next 5 or so years.
Dude, you want to hate it, but
poor Omar.
All because they didn't want to run the ball. If you have fucking... Because you got to think, at the time, like, I don't think the game had evolved just yet. Defensively, so like, and also like lines were just better. Like defensively, people got
you don't have beast mode.
I remember watching a Stone Cold and Triple H like Stone Cold Sessions thing to bring this back to wrestling, is that Hunter and Steph are Patriots fans, they the night after the Super Bowl, they went it out and gloated to the WWE universe. It's like, oh, I'm sorry that our Patriots cheated to win. Yeah.
Great pandering, dude. As the authority, come on, bro. That just makes sense.
Right.
Yeah, Mark.
So while this authority stuff was going on, New Japan kicked off January with Wrestle Kingdom 9, and just giving you an idea of where we were 10 years ago. So in the junior tag match, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly retained over teams that included Alex Shelley and Kushida and the Young Bucks.
Nice.
So that's where
they were going on their tear in New Japan with Bullet Club, right?
Yes.
At this point.
Yep. This is around the peak times of the Bullet Club.
I remember watching these videos back to educate myself prior to AEW. I remember that.
Jeff Jarrett was a one-night member of the Bullet Club, along with Karen Jarrett and Scott D'Amore.
I love that.
They were with other members of the Bullet Club in a 6-man. It was like a little comedy thing, and they lost. Lance
Rightfully
Archer and Shelton Benjamin were in a stable together. Suzuki-gun, which was Minoru Suzuki's stable. That included guys like Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance and Shelton for a time.
Okay.
Nice.
I didn't know Suzuki was just like that everyone not from Japan stable. That's great.
Everyone not from Japan.
Well, no, it's like Suzuki.
I had no idea.
Suzuki-gun were like a villainous stable. They were all about brutalizing people rather than breaking the rules.
Throw the foreigners in it. That makes perfect sense. Yep, got it.
Yeah.
What? That's how it works. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
We've had people.
So Kenny Omega wins the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship for the first time. And the last 6 months or so have been very strange for Kenny Omega, like in January 2015. He becomes a full-timer in New Japan as a new member of the Bullet Club, and he's just so different. He's dyed his hair silver. He's wearing black glasses and carrying around a broom. What has become of Kenny Omega?
It's his cleaner gimmick, man.
Yeah,
people
yeah.
loved it, dude. And also that was the start of him also, because you said junior heavyweight. He was a heavyweight like by the next year, right? Or something like that?
Yeah, he graduated to the heavyweight division after Wrestle Kingdom of the next year. Yeah.
Okay. Man, look at that. Fucking remembering my lore here, dude. I'm taking a pat on the back for that one. That's good.
You get a star on your nose.
AJ Styles defeats Tetsuya Naito. This is around the time when everyone is universally considering AJ the best wrestler in the world.
And then he's gone the next year?
Yeah.
Rats.
Yeah, became a free agent and popped up.
Yeah, he won the heavyweight championship in his first bout. Dropped it a couple months late. He was just a transitional champion from Tanahashi to Okada.
But like,
let
me just pull this guy from Ring of Honor and fucking throw the damn strap on. Yeah, that's sick.
But
dude.
Then AJ went on these killer runs in the G1 both years he was in it, and yeah, the rest was history. He became the most coveted free agent in the history of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
That era's gone too today. Damn it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's just.
Doesn't exist anymore.
It wasn't really so much that AJ was a coveted free agent in the terms of like there being a really competitive market. It was just a matter of when is WWE going to notice AJ enough to give him the bag, and that was
right.
The bag getting period.
And I do remember watching that Rumble, and he got a big reaction.
Oh yeah. He was a little worried that it wouldn't happen, but, they were in Orlando. AJ was holding down Orlando for years prior to the Impact.
I also, I think this is something that, maybe this is a topic just to discuss and just in general, is I think always, though, there's always been a section of the WWE audience that knows other stuff. And, when you see reactions like that, it's kind of like, how many of them actually do pay attention? Instead of thinking it's just laser focused on what WWE would be, because I mean Penta got a pretty good reaction too.
Yeah, no, right? It's like social media. It's big enough now to where people through osmosis, if they consume enough wrestling related content, the algorithm's just gonna push stuff that's not in the biodome. That's what I've talked about before. It's like WWE is a biodome after they launched the nuke that killed the ecosystem in 2001. They built the bio.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because but you're so right, because I didn't watch everything, and now I spend, obviously I'm more intentional with my time, but I don't know all the history of certain things. But you're right, social media will push me down to that, and then I can easily research something now. So yeah, there's definitely something to be said about that. I think it's pretty cool, and I think sometimes WWE fans get a bad rap where they still pay attention. They're not naive to things, I
don't even care if people don't pay attention. What gets to me are people who acknowledge that there's a world outside the biodome and look at it with utter disdain. That's dumb. Yes. Well, I've really come to really dislike the whole, oh man, you did that shit in front of 15 people? Fuck yeah, he did, because he loves this game.
Yeah, it's also where everyone started.
For real.
Unless you have
most everyone started wrestling in a gym
D1 athlete.
Right. And even then they're still wrestling fucking not against very many people, because they have other shows that NXT will do, right? You'll go to local towns and whatever, right? That's 30 people, 40 people, 50 people in a gym. I mean, they don't care, they're athletes, but that's where people start for the most part, unless you got nepotism.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You got to start somewhere.
Right. So it's just so weird to me, because it's also those same people couldn't do a nip up.
Well, yeah, no, it's not
they
even.
Couldn't take it suplex.
It's just this, they say it with faint concern. It's you're really ruining your body in front of so few people.
Yeah, bro, it's practice. Everything's practice.
You're getting reps.
Yeah, dude. It's
I do wonder what this person would say, at a community college basketball team. They're practicing. They're risking injuries.
I don't know. I think I would say probably the collective of those individuals have never been involved in anything that was organized and competitive. So as a result, they have no basis of how to actually formulate their thought.
They don't understand what it's like going out into your community and becoming really invested in something that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. It's with the promotions I work for, a lot of people are definitely on their way up, but some people are definitely going to peak around there, and that's fine. Yeah, it's beautiful in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It's
all
these different facets.
Yeah, it's I do this on the weekends. That's dope. There's nothing wrong with that, man. As long as you're taking care of yourself, Yeah, and if you can progress, that's great too. But like, that's what's wrong. I'm with you. I don't understand what's wrong with that. People providing entertainment so you don't have to like fucking drone and do the same shit over again is an amazing thing. So shitting on that doesn't make any sense to me. If you don't like it, you don't like it, but you don't have disdain for it because somebody does, even if it's their kid or something.
But I think
you know
that
what I mean?
disdain, that
people just want
section
something to bitch
of
about.
the WWE fans, like that, because that's the attitude that WWE feeds their fans. Like, especially in Vince's time, where the outside world does not matter.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. That's what I'm saying. Is like there were always these glimmering moments that it seemed like WWE would always suppress, and now they're not. It's such a stark contrast in compare. Like Damian Sandow was probably the most over that entire night. And there was no chance. But there was no chance in hell that any of that would matter because his character was always supposed to elevate The Miz and they were never going to spin off and do something else. Now, that's like a possibility, right? Like, I mean, Kaiser's kind of gotten a little bit of that rub. Like, he can kind of actually exist on his own now. So, like, I don't know. It's like I'm looking at like how they were producing people, and it was just so bad. It was so bad. Like the fucking thing I said to you, what was the thing? I'm definitely going to be the one or whatever. Like they said that 8 million times like before. Yeah. I will definitely be the one. Like
that opening video package, there's just so much wrong there. Like everything about Dean Ambrose is wrong. The way he's posed, the fact that he has long flowing hair.
Cringe.
He was the lunatic fringe, so like you're close.
Yeah, but like it was just cringe, man. Like all of it was cringe. Like even when they showed Goldust and Stardust, I'm like, bro, who the hell looked at Cody, put him on all this, and was like felt that Stardust was going to do something?
I bet you he was like, I'm gonna get him to crack. I'm gonna do it. And I bet you Dustin was laughing that entire time. That's why I started the other way, dude. Because there's no way there's no way Cody wasn't just doing that the entire time.
He was either laughing or he was cursing.
Cody has always been the little brother
because he's making us do this shit.
Oh my god. He acts like a little brother. He little brothered himself to the top. It's unbelievable to me, man. It's crazy.
Maybe that's part of why I could never hate Cody. You know, I resonate with that as the little brother in a family.
Yeah, like it's like his rise to. It doesn't bother me, but I'm the older brother, right? So like I look at that and I go, ugh. Like, all right, that's fine. And like I love Cody to pieces. I can't wait until he turns heel on everyone and it pisses everyone off. But yeah, he little brothered his way to the top because he took Stardust and then he just went indie and was just a douchebag heel forever. And then now he's the most over babyface in WWE. Bull fucking shit. I've seen this story before. Mom, they're gonna get you. He's gonna get you. I promise. It's gonna happen.
We're just waiting for it.
And Dad fucking knows. See, Dad knows, but he's like, nothing I can do, son. That's it, man. That's Cody. That is Cody Rhodes. Put that on a fucking shirt. The back, all the text. There you go.
So anyway, Cody was wearing face paint in 2015 to get back to WWE.
Yeah.
Golden Stardust. Man. Vince McMahon did not give a single fuck about Dusty Rhodes and his family.
He did not. One bit.
And you know what though? I gotta give Dustin and Cody their flowers, man. Just taking it on the fucking chin and making the best of it.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do that. But they got paid. And they said, you know what?
And the fact that Dustin did it in the 90s and got Goldust so over the way he did.
Oh, dude, his shit with Booker T was incredible. Like,
yeah.
So it's just that's a beautiful thing. I know I'm a little galaxy brain, but like that's pretty cool. You know, like they didn't have to embrace him, but they did. So like, kind of fuck you, Vince, because now that guy is your champ, doing it his way.
I think one of the funniest things in this pay-per-view was after Daniel Bryan got eliminated, they just kept chanting his name.
Yeah,
like, bro, he ain't coming back out, but damn. And then at the end, they're just like, we want Rusev.
We're just going to be all over the place with this Rumble, but yeah, there is a distinct vibe shift after Bryan is eliminated. The crowd are just done, audibly done. It's like they're not even angry. They're exhausted. They're laughing at themselves for even being invested in the first place.
Yeah,
this
then
was
you
an
get the shot at the
ugly,
end.
hard to watch show. Main event especially, because this Rumble wasn't only just bad for the result, it was a bad Rumble in general. Like, it was paced weird. Bray Wyatt was just beating all of these geeks like Zack Ryder and the Boogeyman.
Geeks, he says. But it's a good term to use.
Zack Ryder was a total geek in 2015. He couldn't even get on TV.
And he's been TV champ how many times since then? Crazy stuff, man.
The fact that after everyone was gone, there was just Roman in the ring, and Rusev was still in, and they were chanting, "We want Rusev." I'm like, bro, come on. This dude's like one of the biggest heels at the time, and they're chanting for this dude. That's how bad.
Yeah, but that's Philly crowds though, man. They know how to deliver. Philly does not.
Philly
does not fuck around.
They're gonna tell you. It's only a couple cities crowds that would do that. Philly, Brooklyn, and Chicago, and like one other one's like they're gonna tell you every time. If they don't like it, they're going to tell you.
Oh my god, dude, the heat Cena got was on. That was visceral.
I mean,
was like,
because he was forced down our throats for so long.
Sure.
Every great sequel still has its predecessor. Like Rumble 2014 in Pittsburgh, they did the same thing to Batista.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they had to swerve with Daniel Bryan, man. Nobody wanted this shit.
Surely they wouldn't do that 2 years in a row. Which is, I mean, that's a real showing of how lost the plot Vince has. Also, just kind of a sign that this was a period where, yes, Triple H was starting to exert a little power on things. He had to bring in one of his guys to save WrestleMania from Vince.
Sometimes that man could not get out of his own way.
Also, probably adding to the bad mood around WWE at this time, a couple months prior, CM Punk had his infamous podcasts with Colt Cabana and spilled all the tea he could, and one of those was all the agents going up to him saying, "You gotta make Roman look really strong."
Yeah.
Which just fueled the narrative that Roman is steamrolling the rest of the roster at the demand of corporate, which which was pretty undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they just didn't feature him well at all.
No.
All of us were okay with Roman being the guy.
One of the problem was he couldn't get his reps in because he missed a big chunk of 2014 with a hernia.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was only brought back like a month ago at this time. Like in December. And he's mostly been having slow matches with the Big Show.
Oh, really? Oh, then I'd be annoyed as a fan. I'd be like, let him wrestle a little more before he just, okay. Yeah, and then if you're going to throw him up in front of a promo and get under his chin and make him not look good at all, like, come on, bro. Like, no one's going to believe that. Like, 12 fucking eliminations. Like, we've seen that from every fucking heavyweight before you. Like, that would be frustrating.
Like, there was...
Ew. That sucks.
Like, there was... at the WrestleMania a few months after this, there would be an IC title opener, and that included guys like Barrett, Harper, Ziggler, Truth, Cody. Imagine if the year prior to this, Roman Reigns had been slotted into that IC title scene and just worked with all these guys to get his mojo as a singles wrestler instead of wrestling Big Show and Kane every week.
Well, isn't that what...
It's like they put no thought into it.
Well, hold on. Or did they just div that to Seth? Because didn't Seth do that?
Pretty much, yeah.
Right? So, like, I'm with you, but, like, I feel like the hidden gem from all of this, and he's always said it, has been Seth. Because Seth did it right. Because I think there's a lot more hate for a Roman character than I've ever heard about a Seth Rollins.
Yeah, KJ, what did you think of architect Seth Rollins? And no freaking... When Seth said, "I am Seth Rollins" in that promo, I did a double take. It's like, something's missing!
It's crazy, dude. It's crazy, the subliminal messaging and conditioning that WWE will give you. Mm-hmm. You are fed-pilled, my guy.
We're dogs. We're literally dogs. And we're ready for that next round of dog food.
We are. I like Architect Seth. I felt like
Yeah.
J&J Security was very indie and hokey. Didn't like that to his gimmick at all, but I think based
Hmm.
on the Authority character or the Authority gimmick, I get it. It makes sense. Not for me because I've known better now, but at the time, but it did show um it showed a different pacing in a wrestling ring that was a level above than what you would normally see because you saw Cena and fucking Brock only do the same two moves, right? So that was cool to see in that context, and I feel like that elevated everyone. Maybe it wasn't him per se, but he was the start of actually not seeing the same boring ass fucking booked matches that you've seen before. Like the three matches prior to were nothing, right? But then you get to that match, it's like, oh, okay, this is good wrestling. Because that you didn't
Yeah.
see any of that prior to. You know what I mean? Like at that level, in a match like that with a bunch of Gaga around it. So I don't know. I thought it was actually a better match than I think people give it credit for, and I think that's because of Seth.
Oh, you're talking about the triple threat. Yeah, everyone loves
Yes,
this match. There was one guy who was a little lukewarm on it in our Discord, but I think the general consensus is that it was one of the best matches all year for WWE, and pretty much
it was
Brock
good.
at the peak of his powers.
Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
dude, Brock was untouchable. Like he was video game boss shit. Like
He
it was.
looked
He was definitely 99 overall, like you
legitimately
said.
the best he's ever looked.
Yeah, and it was the pacing was good,
Hmm.
right? And you
Yeah.
also got a good match out of it. So I was like, okay,
Hmm.
very night and day from the three matches prior to. Like this gives me like if I'm gonna go back and watch that, like that's the match I'll watch for sure. I don't need to watch the Rumble. I can watch that because that told me all I needed to know. It's gonna
Yeah.
be Brock versus winner of the Rumble. Doesn't matter who the Rumble guy is because Brock's gonna be there for years. You knew that, so
But then the thing with Roman is like you kept trying to force him to everyone's throat with that gimmick, and you kept putting him against Brock, and he kept losing. It's like, bro, is he your guy? Is he not? Like,
yeah, and that's what I mean is like I think we immediately respected Seth Rollins because he could have beaten Brock with
yeah,
beating him down enough if he can get in any offense, right? But like you believed that, and WWE does a pretty good job of that, making the smaller guy believable in the heavyweight scene, for what that's worth because they never do it. Um, yeah,
they did it the right way though with the cash in at Mania. Like
yes,
that spot's always going to propel him to where he was.
yes, and that's what I mean is I think they were able to actually get 2 stars by sacrificing one. Maybe I'm like big braining it,
Mhm.
but like how do you get 2 people elevated? Well, one of them's got to actually deliver. I think Seth was the better wrestler. So why not let him actually go on a tear and we protect him in gimmicks and storyline while we just shove Roman down
Yeah,
people's throats because he's going to get respect no matter what. I don't know, man. Like now that I'm thinking about that, like your fans are going to hate it, but if he's money at the end, but if he's money at the end of it, but like here's the thing,
it's
they
it's realpolitik.
well sure, but like by the time he came back and he went heel, he looked beautiful, right? Lost a little more weight, chiseled out, got veneers, which helped,
yeah, got them new
right?
teethers.
But like now I'm like, well, shit. All right, I've seen him for a while. I know what his thing. Oh, well, all right. I kind of like this. And then the bloodline shit was some of the best stuff I'd ever seen, right? So like, we can shit
Hmm.
on it, but like, we kind of needed a little bit of bad to see what good could be.
Yeah,
And Seth has always delivered no matter what. We've
Speaking of
never
a
soured on him.
little bit of bad, a lot of bad, going back to the Rumble match, just starting with Miz and R-Truth. Now, this is probably just like me being really nitpicky, but I always feel like with a Rumble match, you need to start with someone who could plausibly win. That's just the great thing about
Lead with it.
a Royal Rumble is that it's a self-contained story with a bunch of little subplots. And so if you were to start that story with a subplot about someone who, it might not, they're an outside chance, but it wouldn't be a stretch of the imagination to have them win. Like, say, CM Punk was entrant number 1 in 2014, the one he walked out after. But, just as an example, Punk was protected in the main event scene, and is kept prominent on television. Yes, I could buy a reality in which he won, even though
Well, you know who does a good job of that? Like, I mean, right now, the last Rumble, Bailey came out at 3. I think the women's Rumbles actually do a good job of what you're describing.
Yeah,
Jake, I'm gonna check
basically,
while we're
someone who
talking.
could hypothetically do an Iron Man. You know, Miz and R-Truth are not doing a goddamn Iron Man.
No.
Hell no.
That's what my long and winding thing went back to, is that Miz and R-Truth are utter geeks to start at 1 and 2.
Yeah, which is completely true. That's absolutely true.
I guess they just wanted to let Truth get in a rap in, like he was just doing some 90s catchphrases. Oh, God. And then,
Insulted your intelligence.
and then the big nostalgia pop of the evening, Bubba Ray Dudley in Philly.
Yeah.
We cannot
That one
escape
got
this
a pretty big
man.
one.
We have been in a Bully Ray vortex for 10 years.
And now he's on Busted Open, just fucking chilling. And you know what? Good for him, bro. Good
Yeah.
for him.
For real.
Good for him. 2023, Rhea came out at 1 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
Bailey came out at 3 in 2024. They have turned the nose up on that. Seems like they're doing a better job than they did before.
Which I think it was time to, because the first couple, since the Women's Rumble came out, like the first couple winners were like mid to late.
Yeah, like Becky and
She
Ronda.
was like 18.
Yeah, Becky and Ronda both came out at 28 and 1 on their respective ones. Like I'm looking back
Yeah,
now.
and
like,
then Charlotte when Charlotte won, she came in at like 18 or something like that. So they needed to do some like early ones to feed into it. Yeah.
And what's funny about Bubba's cameo here is Devon hadn't been brought back yet, so he just has to look to the nearest black person and order him to get the tables. I'm noticing something, bully!
Yeah. I'm glad you caught on to that.
oh man. That's pretty good.
At the very least, he didn't call Truth Devon.
That's true.
That would have been good. That would have been good.
That would have been heat.
That would have been good. Damn it. That should have happened. Fucking damn it.
Bully racist.
Yeah, that would have written itself.
Oh my god! We need to get Bubba on the line
Yeah.
and pitch to him bully racist. And he dresses like Colonel Sanders.
Oh my god.
And
What are
talks
you saying?
with a southern accent.
What are you saying?
Could you imagine?
Bubba
Yes,
racist.
I can imagine that. I can, Omar. To answer your question, yes.
Bubba racist.
I can fucking admit. He'd probably get all mad and cut some, cut all
He'd
into
do
it
it
about it.
for the right amount of money, he would say.
Okay, well then now let's discuss that. What is the minimum amount of money that he will take in order to go with that gimmick next time? How much do we think that is?
Bully's a weird one. He gonna want to get paid to do it.
Like I feel like that's like a 5-figure thing.
My question is, can he do a Colonel Sanders accent? He can't be the New York type of racist. He has to be the Southern kind of racist.
Yeah, I don't.
He might surprise you because he does Vince really well too. He does a lot of people really.
I don't know. Maybe we do need to call him and pitch. And the question is just, if you were to do this gimmick, how much money would we have to pay you? That's the question, because in that way, it protects us from liability. You know what I mean? Like we're not trying to assume anything of you, Bubba, but like, you tell us.
Maybe I'll make enough connections and we can make that happen one day.
Dude, you find yourself at like a fucking party or something. You're like, yo, Bubba, I got a question for you. And you just say that, dude. Oh my god.
Oh Lord.
That might be the last time we see Jake.
Huh?
Why? Why would it be the last time?
Oh, I just feel like
Would Bully Ray kill me?
Yes, that's what I think. Yes.
Okay.
I thought that was assumed.
I got
by my
scared.
I thought that was what I was going for.
KJ, I'm drinking THC cola. Don't scare me.
Oh no, Omar, we're gonna lose him again. It's game over.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
He's learned his lesson. I can't chug
I've
him.
learned. It's fine.
Boy, that was pure comedy.
I'm just man, these guys were some geeks. Luke Harper, Eric Rowan, who knocked out Curtis Axel to enter.
Yep.
Justice for Axel.
Yep.
The other fucking nostalgia pop, DDP. Really rolling out the Rolodex with that one, guys. But I mean, It's DDP. It's DDP yoga. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's DDP yoga. Hell yeah, he said.
I mean, it's just like,
I mean, he was wearing the shirt.
like, yeah, okay, yeah. He saved Jake Roberts and Scott Hall's lives, but in WWE in ring, his legacy is stalking the Undertaker's wife.
Yep.
And winning the European Championship a couple of times, I think.
Pretty much, and I think tag like once or twice as well.
Yeah.
Let's find out. Diamond Dallas Page.
Well, he's currently trying to save Lex Luger. He's apparently trying to get him walking again, so we'll see what happens.
That'd be dope.
Okay, hell yeah.
He was in a ton of games.
Yeah,
He was in a lot of films too. What the fuck? A deleted scene on the 40-Year-Old Virgin? That's dope. This is a good Wikipedia page.
Well, he did used to like run a club or something before he got into wrestling.
The Alley Club. Yeah. Oh, you're in a frat. No shit.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. He won the European Championship, Tag Team Championship, and then he made the Hall of Fame in 2017.
Now we know, and knowing is half the battle.
That's true. Educate yourselves, people.
Yeah.
Don't just
real.
buy into the hate. Go research and see if the hate's substantiated. I used to do that shit with Jeff Jarrett, and then I educated myself. That motherfucker is the most genuine person in the world. He should have stopped his fucking promo, though, on Wednesday, halfway through. I didn't need the last bit.
I muted that entire segment. MJF segments are muted in my
I
household.
thought the segment was actually pretty good. I didn't need the last little bit of the Jeff Jarrett stuff. If he would have done it, I wish he would have just cut his first part, gone straight to the throat, and then that would have been it. I think it was too long, and I think it gave away the ending, unfortunately, to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's what frustrated me about it. And he shouldn't be laughing when JF's cutting shit up. Like, I know he's a kid, and I know him, blah, blah, blah. But, like, come on, Jeff, play the fucking bit. You know?
You know, it's nice that in this time we can make these very nuanced criticisms instead of going back to 2015 where we had to ask, can we actually have a women's division that isn't dedicated to promoting a reality show? The Divas division, fellas.
Whoa.
Bella Twins defeated Paige and Natalya. Are you woofing because it was a bad match, or are you woofing because of the Divas?
Both.
It was a bad match though.
But yeah, it's incredible, right? Because now I think women's wrestling deserves a place, and I always appreciate it when it happens.
Oh, for sure.
There's no fucking chance in hell I was saying that when I was watching it back. And when I was watching, I was like, what, 10, 11? Like, dude, it was just cat fights and pillow fights. You know what I mean? It wasn't wrestling. So this would be frustrating.
Bro, when we were that young we was looking at it for the ass.
Oh, well, duh, dude. Like, what, 12, 13? We know what's going on at that age. Come on.
The thing is, like
banger matches.
Even from the perspective of someone who, yes, I am attracted to women, but the Divas are made up in a very tacky way in this era.
They're Barbies, but not Barbies. Like, yeah, they're manufactured.
Yeah, I think that's why there's a section of people who are, Divas stands today. They look like Barbies. They're for straight women and gay men.
Sure.
And I think the big thing was too, like, Total Divas was like starting on and it was getting big at this time.
Yeah.
So, like,
yeah.
That's why they were.
I mean, yeah, throw the Bellas on that, and you're gonna fucking sell every possible thing to that show. Yeah, completely agreed. But
I think what's interesting is, obviously, people like to credit, the internet and all that stuff in NXT for pushing the women forward in WWE, and that's all certainly true. But what I noticed on this broadcast was how deferential WWE were to UFC, like listing them as like big accomplishments for Brock. And I was thinking, I think around this time, that's when they started to hear rumblings of this Ronda Rousey really killing it in UFC. And they're like, well, if we could bring Brock in, why don't we bring Ronda in? Who's she going to wrestle? Oh, shit. And is she going to be a diva? Probably not. Okay, let's clean this place up a bit. And that's how they did the women's evolution.
Mm-hmm.
They had to pretty it up to convince Ronda to come in.
So you're thinking, by what you just said, Ronda Rousey is the women's evolution, is what you mean?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. She was the reason why it started getting cleaned up.
That's just the optics of what you just said is wild. Like,
well, and I think another part of that too is that you had Charlotte coming on as like you're not going to portray her as a diva. Like she's going to come in. And,
yeah, that NXT class was definitely.
She's going to come in. She's going to kill.
Yeah,
correct. She's going to come in and kill the matches. I mean, Sasha, like you don't see her as eye candy. Great wrestler. Like Bayley at the time was not seen as eye candy. She was coming and killing the matches as well. So shit was coming down. I mean, am I wrong though? Like, come on, bro.
But I mean, again, I'm just trying to imagine Bayley diva upped like it was 10 years ago, and I can't. You know, it would just be so counter to how she portrays herself.
Yes, Jake.
Either face or heel.
Yeah, sorry, Omar. Just making a fucking cake joke out of that is fucking top notch stuff.
I mean, I'm spitting
oh
facts
my god. But yeah, like you're right. The betrayal, there's no way that they would be divas. So the fact that they let that
like,
go.
Natty looks off.
The times
here.
are changing.
Yeah.
And like she was like, you know, Natalia's not shy about showing her body. You know, anyone who has seen her Instagram knows that. But like here, it just looks out of place with her rest because like she went to a full bodysuit eventually. And that looks much more befitting to her style, you know, in the way she carries herself. But it's the Divas division. They all gotta look like divas.
Yeah. And they did. Until they didn't.
Even Saraya looks way too sparkly.
Dude, I mean, Saraya's like kind of one of those like interesting cases because she kind of was the one who broke through that a little bit first, mainly just because she looked so different. Like you can't divify that. She's an emo chick and she's pasty as fuck, right?
Yeah.
So like, how do you glorify that? Maybe you don't, right? You don't doll that up. You just let it be what it is. I mean, she was barely looking like a diva, but like the makeup just kind of like made her eyes really small. So like they could do it, but you know what I mean? Like it was just
they were doing a little too much.
They should have popped her eyes more because
that's.
I mean, it's what she looks like now, right? So, but it's just.
Exactly.
So she kind of did that a little bit, but to Jake's point, she was buried in anything. Like she wasn't gonna be the push all the way through. I mean, you needed a fucking force of them, and then you had the 4 horsewomen coming through NXT. So everything you're saying makes sense. And then 2018. When's Ronda win? 2018. No,
Ronda comes in 2018.
Yeah.
Main event's 2019.
Right there you go. Right, so yeah, that makes sense. That's fucking crazy. I didn't.
Yeah, but she was teased that Mania.
Yes, because the handshake in
with the Rock.
Yeah.
To promote Fast and Furious.
Yeah. So that's how we knew like she was on her way at some point.
Man, I was just on the tail end of all this, and I just missed like just these very simple things that just make perfect sense.
I mean. When we saw the 4 horsewomen in NXT and knowing they were coming to the main roster, something had to change because you're not going to be able to keep all the diva shit. Like,
okay.
Yeah, and then that's when, you know, they brought in Lita with Stephanie take over the Divas Championship. Then you had a Raw one, the SmackDown. And it was time. It was past time for them to make that change.
Noted.
Yeah, but still, there's a lot of people who are nostalgic for the butterfly belt. You know, girls who came up. Are now in their early 20s. So they were, you know, Noah's age when they were watching this, you know, and it affected what they saw as a woman's wrestler aesthetically. So there's definitely a lot of divas revisionism going on now, but I think it needs to be said the women have always deserved better.
Yeah, and I think the better, unfortunately, is like better in the context of like what it's around. I think it just has to be more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
This is the real one, though.
Oh, that's the OG, man.
That's the OG right there. Yeah, it's my sister. She gave it to me. She was like, I want you to hold on to it. She's like, don't sell it, though.
No, absolutely not.
I was like, I wouldn't. I was like, if I ever meet Trish and Lita, they got to sign it and then boom, frame it.
And then you get buried with it. Just take it with you, bro. That's it, man. Just no one can have it. This is you.
Put it across.
Oh, I got their signature. It's mine. And then all of a sudden, like, you just magically meet them in whatever afterlife because you're like, oh my god, I can't believe you pulled it off. That's crazy. Crazy shit.
Right.
Sorry, Shannon. My fault.
Oh, Lord.
Sorry, Shannon, my fault.
So, KJ, what was this about you comparing the Bella's bust sizes?
No, I wasn't comparing
Naughty,
the damn
naughty man.
bust sizes. Shut the fuck up. No, I was.
Nah, he was thinking like we all were. Like
Nikki was hot, dude. She was hot.
Bree was like the one we were all like.
Bree's the one you marry.
Bree was like I'm taking her home.
Bree's the one you marry.
Yes.
Bree's the one you bring to mom. Bree's the one that you take out to dinner. Nikki is just really fun to flirt with at the party. Like, it was clear as day, like right in front of you.
Well, I mean, I think with Nikki, I'm gonna do a little bit more than flirting.
Okay, come on. This is a family show, Omar. What the hell, bro? This is
shit.
But yeah, I just made the joke, and I was just like, this is so in your face. Like, this is crazy. And what the shot that I thought was really funny was all the fucking Gooners standing up watching their entrance.
I mean, I think though they were doing that contrast. Like in the past, the Bellas were pretty interchangeable, but you know, with the start of Total Divas, you actually saw a contrast in Brie and Nikki's lifestyles. Like, Brie and Cena, Brie and Brian were pretty committed by this point. You know, they were like together forever. Meanwhile, Nikki and Cena, you know, Nikki wants a kid. Cena is just like, no. Yeah.
That dude lives his life a little weird, bro. Like his rules that he had and shit, I was like, what the hell's wrong with this?
I mean, respect. Hustle, loyalty, respect,
yeah.
bro. Like, I mean, he's it's weird, but at the same time, he's probably one of the genuinely best human beings that we have on the planet. Like, he's a real life Superman. Guys,
and then my thing was like, Nikki getting upset. Like, he told you what it was from jump. Like, you can't change this dude.
I can save him.
He was about to give you
I can
marriage.
change him.
He was about to put that.
I can change him. No, you can't. Shut up. Don't tell me what could have been. You know, Cena was there. You could have fucking put it in a test tube. Like, you could have done some.
I don't.
Not a test tube.
I don't think Cena was. I don't think the act of consummation or conception was what Cena was afraid of.
Yeah, bro, they were telling stories like mirrors on the ceiling of his fucking travel bus. Like, he was getting it.
I mean,
like,
just,
that
just
was not
grab
the
it
issue.
out of whatever.
He just didn't want kids.
Just grab it. Just fucking. I mean, we're cutting it.
He just
Obviously,
didn't want kids. Like, it was not gonna happen.
So yeah, Jake, I wasn't comparing their freaking bust sizes, man. I'm a happily married man, dude. Jeez.
Oh,
so
God.
funny. Just,
I mean, if you were, it wouldn't have been in the
no,
world.
not at all, bro. Not at all. Come on,
not at all.
I'm not worried about that. We're just geeking around. I mean, dude, we're feeling it because if we just went through the card, we'd be done by now. We'd be like, all right, good night.
For sure.
Dude, it's
like, because it was that bad.
And like, what really bothers me is like, after your pandering fucking promo, you had a good segment with the New Age Outlaws.
Ooh, Roxanne Perez is on SmackDown.
Okay.
In the crowd, yeah, she just went face to face with Bayley during the match. Okay,
that's cool. I can appreciate that. But like, you had Jesse James come out, talk to the crowd, get them all riled up, blah blah blah. It's great.
Yeah.
And then it just died. Fucking. Yeah, Jake, I was just telling Omar.
Oh, it was also kind of cool to see Brandy Rhodes. You hear her some ringing out.
Yeah.
Yes, Brandy Rhodes was an announcer. Actually, her name was Eden Styles. Remember that name?
Yeah.
Eden's like E-D-E-N.
Yes.
Eden Styles. Wow. Stardust and Eden Styles. Dude, that's a fucking match made in heaven right there.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's fucking.
Because when it started, I was like, that voice sounds familiar. And I was like, oh yeah, she was still with the company here. And I was like, and then when he came out of Stardust, I'm like, how the hell were they not like, what the fuck is this?
What, those two?
Or just laughing whenever he.
Oh, I bet you they were. Come on. I mean, dude, it's really hard not to. I mean, I bet you Rhea was saying some of the dumbest shit to Dom. every fucking time they were coming down to that, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Because he cracks so many fucking times, dude.
Whispering in his ear. She's probably saying the goofiest shit.
Yeah. Once again, something we can appreciate. It's not insulting to us. We know they're having a good time performing in front of us. They can break it. We can respect the fourth wall. It was very hard to do the same. Or it was so fucking obvious. Like the Damian Sandow situation, right? Like that was so like we want to cheer him because it's a fun thing for us to appreciate, but not because
give context for viewers who may not know. At the time, Damian Sandow was Miz's stunt double, and he would literally mime all of Miz's activities. It was very funny.
Didn't he mimic what was happening in the ring at one point against like an invisible guy? Like just incredible, stupid fucking stuff. But like that was better than what we were getting in there. You know what I mean? Like that's like that shit would be like it'd be either visceral like Dom shit or like it wouldn't happen in today's age. But then it was something that could get over because we were so fucking over Miz. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just it's wild. Like it's so different, man.
Speaking of acts that people were over with, the Usos, they had been the dominant tag team of the last 2 years, and people were just done. They were just like, okay, it's old. You guys wrestled the same 3 teams a month. I'm tired. I'm so tired. And then the Usos had probably the best undercard match of the night before before the title match.
Yeah. Yes, agreed. Like it was better. Yes.
Yeah, better than the New Age Outlaws and the Divas. Shocking.
Yeah, oh, dude, the Ascension. I was like, no.
Yeah,
no. I thought it was weird booking too to throw 2 tag matches right in a row. I thought that was
3
odd
with the Divas.
Or 3, yeah, excuse me, 3.
I'm telling you, Vince was just throwing shit at the wall and hoping that it would see if it would stick. Yeah, at that point.
Like, I mean, you talk about us like eventually at some point you want to give us some credence and believability and things, but no title changes. Teams that obviously should have won did. I mean, and then just a stark contrast to the fucking title match. Crazy how different that was. And I think it's because
what was crazy about the title match is that it actually made you feel something other than just boredom, confusion,
I literally
or disgust.
told y'all when I watched this, I was like, well, I'm going to skim through I'll just watch the entrances, watch the finish. I'm like, okay, blah, 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 got it. That was booked, got it. Like, I expected that. I watched the entire main event. Or the title match, right? I was like, wow, okay, like, this is actually pretty good, even though I knew it was just going to be your typical standard John Cena Brock Lesnar match. But Seth was that nice wrinkle that, based on the context, I could tell hadn't been done very much.
Yeah.
So.
And we got a couple nice spots.
Yeah.
It was Seth Rollins's real first outing as like a main eventer up with the established main event guys.
Yeah. I felt that. He was very much like he was like, regardless of how much he was in the authority and had the upper hand, he was very much the underdog. And I could feel that, which I think is really cool that WWE was still able to give us that, even though the rest of the card was shit. You know what I mean?
He was an underdog heel, and so that gave him credence to do all the cool high-flying shit. It's great. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed. Like, it was...
This was Seth Rollins at his most beautiful as a wrestler.
I can agree with that. Yeah, like, it's...
Yeah, wholeheartedly agree.
Because that's what I mean. And going back to that little, galaxy brain shit I was on, I was like, well, you're not going to be able to do that with Roman. So fuck it. Let Seth do it. I don't know, man. It's a good... Seth has been booked very well. And I think now that I'm thinking back to it, all the stuff Punk kind of says gets more and more true as you think about it. Like, they loved you. You could do no wrong. It's kind of true.
Yeah.
And that's like kind of the beauty of, doing these things. And I love that you'd send us back, Jake, all the time, because it gives you the historical context behind booking that makes you appreciate it a little bit more than it just being on the surface. Because at this moment, you can tell Seth is getting pushed to the fucking moon.
And then you also get to see how, like, things are different now what it was back then. And, like, how some things are cringe, how things have changed, how some things haven't changed. Like,
yeah, and
I mean, it was cool to see that Philly crowd then, and we just had Mania in Philly. Like how similar crowds react, but like how different the times are with it.
Yeah, like the essence of the structure of how they put a show together has not changed, but they've amplified vignettes immensely. They've trimmed out hokey shit in gimmicks. I mean, even though like, Alpha Academy and like things like that like are still kind of hokey, it's believable because all those motherfuckers can go in the ring, right? Like they've eliminated any ability for you to kind of shit on a gimmick, and even then, like they've protected, I think, even the Wyatt Six pretty well. Same thing with Final Testament, right? They protected them. Like we may not care about them, but like they're still not like hurting us. But they're probably the closest thing to that, right?
That's another thing.
Which is still
that's
good.
A stark contrast from 10 years ago. Is the level of gravitas they give to the spooky shit now,
yes,
compared to then, where Cole and JBL were just actively laughing at anything that was abnormal.
Yeah, JBL detracted sometimes too much from shit,
and like
yeah, he did.
And people will gas up Michael Cole, and it's probably because he set a very low bar for himself. He was fucking awful.
At the time? Yeah, like, he wasn't that great. But
Michael Cole, JBL, and Jerry Lawler way past his prime. It's brutal.
Yeah, it's not good.
Commentary.
Yeah.
It was.
And I think Cole did the best he could, to his credit. But, like, yeah, it was still the pandering bullshit. It was just this tinge of just, like, hokiness. And I didn't like it. Like, all the way through.
But like you were saying, when we go back and watch this, like that's a testament to Cole. Because look where he was now. Look where he
clearly had the subject matter he did on himself, right? Yeah. He had the subject matter down. Yeah. He knew the role. He knew what to do. So now that they're letting him just fucking run, okay, it's good. He's also got a little more age on him too.
He's on it now.
But Jake's right. I mean, at the time it wasn't good. But I don't think he had a choice to. I don't think he had a chance to be good either, with who they put him with.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, King should have been off of commentary for a while. Like he did his time here ran when it was the Attitude Era. It was
like this is in the mud.
Yeah,
like, this is kind of like in the mud. I mean, they put it was 17,000 there for a Rumble. Okay, it's pretty big. It's Rumble, but how many do they get for Rumble now? Like
stadiums, man.
Like y'all. Like, there was a time, proportionally, where WWE, and all the fucking AEW marks, and WWE was in the fucking mud, y'all. like that's a real, like, that amount right now is going to be in Spectrum Center for Raw. Like,
it's only going to be a matter of time until the Rumble is going to be 2 nights. They're going to do
every
they're starting
to be 2 nights.
It's coming.
Yeah, the Saudi show in 2026.
They're fucking doing Royal Rumble in the actual Rumble, not the greatest Royal Rumble gimmick. The actual fucking Rumble.
Yeah. So you're gonna probably get women's one night, men's one night. Yeah, it's just
crazy, dude. It's wild to think that was just 10 years ago. 10 years ago.
Right.
That's not a long time, man. Like we really
time's moving fast, man.
Yeah, man. It's just. I don't know, man. It's looking back was great. I just don't have much more to say about the show other than like it was just it was just the epitome of what we desperately needed AEW to save us from. Is kind of what I was thinking that entire time. Is like, wow, I'm so glad that AEW exists.
It
was needed.
I am so glad.
Actually to bookend this with thoughts from our friend Noah, who, again, was 12 years old at the time of the Royal Rumble 2015. Noah said that he left wrestling for good with Bryan's retirement, and then he came back for Batista's return in early 2019 when he attacked Ric Flair, said, "Huh? And give me what I want!"
Yep. Love that. I remember that
brought
promo.
Noah back in.
Okay.
And if it wasn't for AEW, I would have checked out after Hell in a Cell 2019. Rollins and The Fiend.
Wow.
Oh, so bad.
See, like that to me is fascinating because, like, for me, I was like, I don't know, maybe it's because we were little. Yeah. Like, he's what, 19 at that point, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's a kid. Like, I'm a kid, 31, but like, that is incredible, and I think that's the power, and I think that's like the essence of like the real like the diehards, like the faithful, are just like, wow, like this thing was so helpful in this moment because now I can appreciate both. Because that's kind of how I feel now. Like, I didn't give a shit to keep watching fucking... Like, every time I was at the fucking summit, what was I? Ripped out of my fucking mind and drunk as shit because I didn't care what I was watching on TV. I just want to get drunk with my friends. Now I drive... Well, I got kids, but, like, I actually enjoy watching the pay-per-views now. I enjoy, like, the story that's happening. I'm a chatterbox, of course, but, like, I'll still watch the shows. It just... There's no way. There's just no way I used to do that before. And that's honestly because we have AEW. It's got to be.
Omar, you're a Rock fan, you're a Bloodline fan. What was it like watching this moment back of Rock coming in to save Roman, try to give him some cheers, but it's just not working, and The Rock is angry and confused?
Rewatching it back, for me, I paid more attention to Roman and Rock's reaction, and Vince put them in a very awkward spot. Especially Rock, because he was just like, bro, I'm trying to just work with something and nothing's working. So you could just tell at that last moment, he was like, one hug and I'm out. And then Roman's just standing in the ring like, what the fuck do I do? Do I go up here and raise my hands? Because it just feels off. And it's like, Vince, you should have known in that moment, like, you have to go in a different direction. But he's stubborn and he wants it his way. And sometimes he doesn't give a fuck what.
Well, yeah. Hell in a Cell 2019. There's your answer. Your answer. Like, you had a...
So it was for me, it was cringe. It was just like, I feel bad for the two guys in the ring. And then even worse for the crowd because no one wants this shit.
It's funny. Rock was there in that moment. And he didn't learn a thing because years later, like 9 years after that, he walks up and takes Cody's match from him, and Cody is forced to just shake his hand and smile. Right. And then the Justice for Cody movement happened. Time is a flat circle, guys.
Yeah, man.
So do we get Rock versus Roman at 41?
Yeah. That's what I wanted to ask.
Who the hell knows? A lot of people are saying Rock's done. Like, I'm leaving my mind open because I'm like, Rock could be swerving the fuck.
Yeah, I think
really
it was
show up at the Rumble. He could show up after.
I think it was this is Meltzer probably just speculating at this point, but like he said, Rock will at one point put over Roman for his final match. He's not done.
Oh, for sure.
I feel like that makes sense.
Yeah,
that doesn't seem like a crazy projection.
It has to be a ceremonial kill.
Sure.
Yeah. Who knows? It could go anywhere. I think
the match must end.
How the Rumble ends.
Well, now
what happens in the Rumble is going to start giving us slowly some answers. So in a couple weeks we'll know.
So you're holding out hope that Rock is involved in this Mania.
I think he's going to be involved one way. He may not wrestle, but he's going to be there. He's going to be involved. Who knows? Rock's not going to pass up being at Mania in Vegas.
That's why
I just think he might be swerving.
That's why I bought the fucking ticket, man.
Yeah, that's why everybody bought the fucking ticket.
I want to see The Rock in Vegas.
Well,
sounds
it's
great.
still going to be fun
he's
to
going
see
to be there in some
Cena wrestle in a big match because
this
Rumble 2015 was probably the last great anti-Cena crowd. Like Cena wasn't even like this is pre-Cena orchestrated the John Cena sucks chants. No, that was just pure passion. People singing John Cena sucks.
It was
very loud.
And we're gonna get to say we're in the building for his last WrestleMania match. That's gonna be cool.
That is a really cool thing that came out of this that I did not consider when we were buying it. Did we even know at the time?
No, I don't even know if he is.
That's right. Like, did he announce that?
On
I
a
feel
tour.
like we bought it before.
He just said it was going to be done soon. I think he announced it like not too long after that.
So we should have assumed that he'd be at that Mania.
Yeah.
But we're dumb marks, so we didn't.
But I'm just wondering though, will I cry if Cena breaks the record at Mania? Probably I will because I'll be under some kind of influence.
I will.
Busted Open will spend a week
just for
shitting on The Rock for no fucking reason if Cena wins. Like that's what'll happen.
For everything that I've been through in the last couple of years, the national anthem is going to get me again. So if y'all see me like hysterical, that's why. It's just appreciation. Everything I've been through, like just appreciative that I'm here in this moment enjoying this.
Well, thanks for letting me know that.
I'm probably gonna have tears a couple times.
If you didn't tell me that, I would have started laughing at you during, like, no question. I would have just started.
Yeah,
I'll probably do it more now that you've told me, but at least now you'll understand.
Yeah, which you can. But I mean, I warned my buddies this past year at Mania because like it was like I finally made it to a Mania. Just happy to be here after everything.
I get it. I understand.
So I had my moment there, but yeah, man. But Cena for sure, Jake. I'm with you. Yeah, if he does it. Of course.
All right.
We witnessed
He didn't do it on this night in 2015, but he might do it on a night in 2025.
He might. I think he's going to do it.
It's not about the destination, but the journey. This journey we've been on over these 10 years to come to now.
The THC shit kicked in, didn't it, Jake?
Yes, it did. And so I think we'll just go... We're done with old business. New business, we'll start ranking the Royal Rumble winners. In the meantime, this meeting of the Tribalism Chiefs is adjourned.
If you enjoy the Tribalism Chiefs podcast, here are some of the ways you can support the show. 1. Like, review, share, and subscribe on your listening platform of choice. 2. Join the Carolina WrestleManiacs Discord, where you can chat with the host as well as other like-minded wrestling fans about everything from wrestling to movies to games to music. Link to the Discord is in the description. 3. Like us on Facebook and follow us on X, where we are the Tribalism Chiefs. 4. Consider supporting local promotions Jake works for, including Extreme Championship Wrestling based out of Charlotte and Apple City Championship Wrestling based out of Hiddenite and Hickory in North Carolina. Dates and showtimes for their events are available on their respective Facebook pages. Once again, thank you for listening to the show.